Hey everybody, Sky Spider here. I want to do something a little different on this video. I keep getting the same questions put in the comments of videos pretty frequently, so I want to go ahead and address like a few of the more common ones now. I'll keep this hard linked on the channel so it's easy to find, and if you look in the description, you'll see the list of all the questions I'm about to answer and the timestamp for where to skip to see it. That should make this a little easier to view in the future if someone wants to look something up. So the question I get the absolute most, what the fuck is that on your face? Come on, guys. You've seen people with a face. Fucking Post Malone's one of the most famous musicians in the world. You've seen a face tattoo before. It's not a Maori tattoo. I'm not Maori. It's just on my chin because that's where I wanted to put it. It's a tattoo that was originally a piece of abstract art of mine. I used to paint before my hand got fucked up by a surgeon. That'll be questionable further along the line. It was originally in shades of like blue, light blue, white, really light colors. Problem is about 15 years after I got it, it had faded quite a bit. I knew I was going to have to sit again for it. And I made the decision this time we're going black. We're going to change the design up a little more so it's a little more bold. And that way it's going to last the rest of my life without needing another touch-up. I don't get a lot of sun exposure. I'm on a nocturnal schedule because that's when Rachel works. That's my natural body clock, and that's when the spiders are more active. So yeah, I don't see a lot of sun. But when you have a tattoo on very public skin, yeah, it's going to get sun damage. It's pretty much unavoidable. As for why I have it, the obvious. I like it. It looks good. It makes me happy. Same reason anyone has any tattoo. But an extra bonus for me, to come with my autism, I have a really common disability that comes with autism. They're usually really closely linked. And that is face blindness, prosopagnosia. I am almost completely face blind, with very few exceptions. If I try to think of a person in my head, I literally cannot picture a face. I can't picture Rachel's face, and we're about to celebrate 20 years together. Should say something. I can't picture my best friend, who I've known since freshman year of high school. Yeah, I can't do faces. And that extends to my own face. And one of the things that drove me absolutely fucking crazy is if I'm in a store or someone's house and I don't know a mirror is going to be next to me, and all of a sudden I turn and I see myself in the mirror, without some quick clue that that's me, that scares the shit out of me. Because then I've just got a random person popping up a couple inches from me. The way I'm able to deal with prosopagnosia is I look for related things to people's faces. I look for glasses, because people don't change their glasses very often. Tattoo work, hairstyles, body piercings. And then other than that, I do voice and mannerisms and stuff like that. But having a tattoo right here that's nice and bold helps me with that quite a bit. I used to have a lip piercing here that did the same, a stretched labret piercing. But it wore away the gums on my front teeth, and I made the choice of my teeth before the piercing, obviously. And at that point, that's when I had it tattooed. Actually, I have a little tribute on the inside of my tattoo to how big I'd stretched it. I had a circle tattooed of the same diameter as my final jewelry. And you can see that's still there. Jesus Christ, 23 years later. God, I'm fucking old. So yeah, that's the reason behind my face tattoo. Aside from that, other tattoos, I'm sure you've seen them in videos, just seeing my hands. I really do have nerd and dork tattooed across my knuckles. My arms are covered in different spiders and other animals I've worked with over the years that have really touched me. If you see on the side of my neck, I've got my favorite two moths, which I did research on in college. Luna moth, Cecropia moth. They're both native to the area I live in now in upstate New York. I've also got my previous service dog tattooed above my heart, and the tattoo you always see peeking out of my collars. It is full torso. It's some frames I have being done that are going to hold 3 portraits. I just haven't decided on all the portraits yet. Aside from that, my body is just pretty much covered in random nerdy shit. As for piercings, all I have left are my stretched ears. They're about 1 inch. I don't always wear jewelry, just 'cause I forget it some mornings. That's pretty much it on the bod mod stuff. I've got scarifications. I've done pretty much everything. I was one of the original BME members back in the day. Close friend of Shannon Lorette. Went to ModCon, went to visit Shannon several times, hang out with him, and just get work done in Toronto. Oddly, never made it to a barbecue, which is very strange because there's one like a few days before the ModCon I was at. So yeah, that's the summation of that question and everything related to it. If you can think of anything else related, put it in the comments. Maybe I'll get to it on another one of these. The next one. We really like seeing all the bugs you're breeding. Can we buy some from you? Do you sell your bugs? So this is a complicated question. I don't sell my bugs. I talk about selling them to vendors. What I'm doing is I'm trading them to vendors to get really nice bugs in return. I do it for store credit, and the few times I do have them send me a little bit of cash, it's because I need supplies for the room. Enclosures, substrate, feeders, things along those lines. It's honestly pretty rare that I have to do that. Maybe once every couple of years. Most of the time I'm just trading up on bugs, and that's how my collection is as hardcore as it is. The Nessus up the ass, rare pink toes, rare huntsman. Yeah, I like the really fancy stuff. So that's what I do. I typically sell Tom Patterson, Kelly Swift, Fear Not. Those are usually my 3 main go-tos where I send my spiders. But I don't have any preference. I'll work with anyone that's willing to work with me. I've recently started working with tie-dye tarantulas. So yeah, your best bet is to check with those people. As this channel picks up steam, I'll start having them put little thing on there, bred by Sky Spider or something. So that way you'll know they're from me. And whenever I send some out, I'll make a mention on the channel about it just to say where they're going. So if you really did have your heart set on something I bred, you can find it. Next one I've got down is my degrees. It's a little complicated just because of shit in my past. So I have several biology degrees, members in 2 National Honor Societies. I moved up to upstate New York to finish a doctorate. I got recruited by a school. I'm not going to name them here. I've had enough legal drama with them. Yeah, I'm just not going to name them. Just know it's a biology school in upstate New York. There's a few of those, so you won't know for sure. They talked me into moving up here, made me a whole bunch of promises. I get up here, and immediately, I'd say 75% of my professors my first semester were flat out refusing my disability accommodations. These were ones that my doctors had signed off on. They'd gone through the disability department of the school. I should clarify, the school didn't have their own disability department. They outsourced it to another school, which I think was where a lot of the problems came from. But yeah, every semester I would have people not doing basic accommodations. I couldn't get note takers. I was being denied the ability to type on exams. I can't write anymore. I was being made to do drawings and diagrams constantly, which I can't draw anymore. If I try to do things left-handed, it looks like a fucking 2-year-old's doing it. I've tried. This is, God, how long has this been now? This is 18 years, 17, 18 years that my hand's been fucked up. And God, I may be missing that date, somewhere in that ballpark. It's safe to assume I have tried everything else. But yeah, little things like that. I had a major surgery on my abdomen before one semester. I had it done the first day of summer, actually. And when I was signing up for classes, no one warned me, even though it was in my accommodations, that I'm on bed rest and really just need to be seated in my classes at all times. One of the classes I signed up for had, God, the first lab, the first day of class, was a 10-mile hike. And if you didn't go on that hike, you didn't hear the lecture. So yeah, you can guess how I did in that fucking class. That was, God, the first 6 weeks of the class was like that. And I didn't get to go on any of it and had no note taker. So fuck me, I guess. This all came to a boil when I was doing some field work as part of my degree, and I had to leave 2 days early because I was starting to have repeated panic attacks because I didn't have the privacy they promised. And yeah, they failed me for the entire course over 2 days, even though my work was done and turned in. So while I've done pretty much all the work for my doctorate, I don't have my master's or my doctorate. So I'm a doctor in practice, but not on paper, I think is probably the best way to describe that. Yeah, I figured I'd turn my tarantulas into my degree after my hand got fucked. And yeah, got almost all the way there. Pretty proud of myself. I busted my ass to do it. Just, yeah, it's something like 2/3 of all colleges are really bad about helping people with disabilities finish courses. I got told if they allowed my accommodations, it would lessen the value of their degree to give one to someone like me. I have that in fucking writing. So yeah, I've got, while I still love higher education, I've got kind of a tainted view of it personally, as much as I loved it. I've been to 4 colleges myself. 2 of them were really, really good about accommodations. And go figure, it was the 2 other schools, the ones in New York. Wait, no, one in New York, one in Oklahoma, that were just abysmal. The one in Oklahoma got me to move early. And the one in New York, I ran out of money to keep moving. That was the last of the money from the settlement over my hand. So yeah, I'm stuck here now. There's going to be a little editing here you're going to see because I just realized I need to go back to a point on my degrees. The thing I was doing for my doctorate work, I've been really upset my whole time in the hobby about how badly organized Avicularia was. It's my favorite group of spiders. I love pink toes. I love anything in the genus, or not genus, anything in the family or subfamily. Families and subfamilies always throw me. Aviculariinae. That's Typhlochina, Psalmopius, Erypelma, all kinds of really cool genera are in that group. I just love my fast little tree spiders of the New World. So my degree was finding out genetically what's actually related to what and how, and trying to clean up the names of everything. Unfortunately, I was delayed on my degree by 2 years for all the fighting over my accommodations, and someone else published, as you know. My whole goal was to rename Carabina versicolor to something else, and a different genus. That was my plan as well. I wasn't going to call it Carabina. I'm not going to bother you with what I was going to call it, because it doesn't matter now. And I had several others moved around, and this is why, at this point, I'm very confused about all the changes in Avicularia, because I already had all these certain changes in my mind and all these names and all this stuff I was working toward. And then the new one comes along and it doesn't 100% agree with what I did. It's about 90%. But all the names are different and I can't fucking keep them straight for some reason. So if I ever screw up those names, that's what's going on. Okay, now we'll edit back around. Best first tarantula for a new keeper. Very quick answer. Grandma stole a poker piece, the Chaco Goldeny. They're inexpensive, they're easy to find. They're almost impossible to kill, so they're very forgiving. They're docile, they're handleable, they're big, they're colorful. They're the perfect spider to start with. Yeah, I can't recommend any higher. Next one I've got on the list is my music. So before my hand got hurt, I was a professional musician. I played a little bit of everything. If I pick up an instrument, I can learn it pretty quickly. It's probably connected to my autism. I don't think I'm a savant, but I'm just really good with instruments. So I played basically guitar, bass guitar, piano, drums. Core instruments of a rock band. I had my own bands. I had my own solo project. Yeah, none of my bands that I used to be in are available on the internet anymore. This is like back in high school, early 20s, so early 2000s. Most of that stuff didn't survive. I've still got copies on my computer, but that's about it. My solo project was The Eternal. I started that in 1997, 1998, somewhere around there. And I've just been publishing albums as I felt like it over the years. I've got 4 albums and I think 3 singles that you can find on every streaming service. And for purchase. I'd rather you purchase them. Streaming services don't pay artists like me at anything, which is great. I used to get an occasional check, but ever since Spotify took over, I haven't seen a penny from my music ever since. You can hear my music. I'll usually lay it into videos all the time, especially the shorts I used to do. So that's an example. Is like industrial metal, a little bit of trance techno, some ambient, some progressive, stuff along those lines. Maybe some industrial metal, lots of death metal vocals. I like doing death metal vocals. Aside from that, before the injury, I used to be basically a hired hand. I do roadie work, tuning instruments and shit, keeping them repaired. I got pretty well known for being able to learn how to play a set list on any instrument in about a day or two. So if bands would have a member that was sick or otherwise unable to make shows, they could count on me to just fly across the country and play whatever. So I did a lot of that. I toured with a lot of professional musicians, playing parts in their bands for ones where like you only know the name musician, but they still have to like hire a band to play on tour. So I did a lot of that. And in between tours, I just take whatever job I could find. The one that fucked me up, this gets into my disabilities now. In between tours, I was working as a janitor at a law school overnight. And part of that job was to take an entire floor of classrooms that were tiered, so they had steps going up every row of tables, and to vacuum the carpets in them with an industrial quality vacuum, which I don't know if you've ever used one of those. They're very heavy. And I don't have the formal diagnosis, but my doctors pretty much agree at this point. I have some form of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome where your joints are overly mobile and prone to injury. So carrying this vacuum up those stairs every night, multiple times for each room. One night, just the ligament connecting my ulna to my carpal bones just severed, just popped right off. Felt like fabric ripping. I'll never forget that feeling. Wore a cast for a little while. That didn't fix it. It tore again immediately. Had surgery to fix it. Surgeon fucked up the surgery. Physical therapy ignored me complaining about ripping sensations in my arm. Had to have an emergency surgery to remove something he left in my arm. I've had 7 surgeries on my wrist now, I believe. So I've got about roughly 30% use of my hand. Can't hold any weight on it. Severe chronic pains, that's why I'm on opioids and medical marijuana. Was just opioids, but thank God the marijuana has cut that in half. I don't like opioids. I really don't like being on them. The addiction shit is awful. The laws around them are awful. So yeah, my hand's just fucked beyond all belief. You might see it on camera. I'll frequently have trimmers in it and just drop whatever I'm holding. Sometimes I'll throw whatever I'm holding. When I go to grab things with tweezers, this hand is still better than my left, but sometimes it doesn't pinch when I want it to pinch. Sometimes it lets go a little early. Sometimes it pinches too hard. It's unpredictable and it really fucking sucks. But it's the best option I've got, unfortunately. Aside from that, I'm autistic, OCD, ADHD. I have synesthesia. I can see sounds and feel sounds. Ehlers-Danlos, OCD. I think I already said that one. Yeah, I'm a collection of acronyms. Whatever. Yeah, I think that is all the ones I wanted to answer on this video. So we're about 21 minutes in. I'm not really cutting anything out of this. I'm just going to change the order on that little thing I said out of order. But yeah, that's the basics of it all. If you guys have any more questions, leave them in the comments of this video. Or just ask them on the other ones. I'll answer them as I can. And hopefully this helps you guys. Thanks a bunch. I'll see you around.